So, hi everyone. Very good evening to everyone in India and morning to all in US. My name is Ayusshi Singh and thank you for joining the show. We have with us the one and only Mrs. Peshawaria, the US attorney, social activist, and whatnot. So, hi, namaste, Anuji. How are you?
Very good morning and very good evening to all.
Great. Thank you for your time with us. And जो लोग आज पहली बार join किए हैं, the people who are joining for the first time, I would like to tell you, this is the first session of the show on the air with Anu Vishwarya. And this is not going to be a chit chat, but a very informative session. Well, action speaks louder than words. You will know. सो अनु जी, आप कौन हैं, क्या करते हैं? ये बहुत सारे लोग जो हमारे ऑडियंस में हैं वो जानते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी जो नए ऑडियंस हैं, जो जो लोग क्यूरियस हैं डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस और इमिग्रेशन से रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन क्वेश्चंस पूछने के लिए, तो मैं उनको बता दूं कि अगर आप ये नाम ही टाइप करेंगे इंटरनेट पे तो आपको बहुत कुछ पता चल जाएगा. शी इज one of the renowned personality in India and US, and she has been doing continuously well in the field of law and social work too. So, without wasting any time, I would like to start with my first question on domestic violence. This is not one of the 5 questions, but one of my personal questions that I would like to start with. And the question is, अनु जी, मैं आपसे ऑन अ पर्सनल बेसिस ये क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहूंगी कि कब एक इंसान को पता चलता है कि उसके ऊपर डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस हो रहा है? व्हेन दे विल रियलाइज, एट व्हाट टाइम, एट व्हाट इंटेंसिटी वो उनको ये समझ में आएगा कि उनके साथ एक्सप्लॉयटेशन हो रहा है?
This is different for every woman. A woman who is more alert, a woman who's more aware, will probably see the first signs. A person who's more knowledgeable, who's read a lot, will see signs. And when you see signs like somebody is, you know, tapping your phone, or somebody is trying to access your bank account, or somebody's, not allowing you to speak to your family, small things like that, small indications will show that this person could be in the near future domestically violent towards you, because violence is not only physical, violence is psychological. Violence is of all kinds, which can lower your self-esteem to a large extent. So some people who have been brought up differently will not consider these signs at all, because they are used to subjugation. They are used to be bringing up in that manner. So while others will say, well, this is curbing my freedom. It's telling me what to do, not allowing me to be myself. So, like for example, I see in America, women are a lot more aware about their rights. So for them, even if you're being told to do things differently, that's a huge amount of, curtailment of their freedom. So the earlier, the better that you get to know, because this just grows and grows. Domestic violence is a very, very wide subject, and you can get to know how a person is being domestically violent to you, because it totally destroys you.
Well, it not only affect the physical mental health but also self-esteem, and a person who lost that will not be able to live even if she or he is breathing. So my second question to you is, क्या सिर्फ फीमेल्स ही डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस फेस करती हैं कि मेल भी इस वायलेंस का शिकार होते हैं? आर देयर, you know, biased only to women, or men also face this issue?
Ayushi, what we were discussing is in terms of immigration. We are discussing US immigration. And US immigration there is an act called VAWA, which is called Violence Against Women's Act. Now, it is called Violence Against Women's Act, but it applies to everybody. It is not just women, it applies to men also. So if there is, say, for example, out of 3 women, 1 woman faces domestic violence, 1 out of every 4 males also suffer from domestic violence. in America. So we are talking about this act which applies to both equally. So domestic violence can be any kind. Like, for example, I have seen a lot of women who are US citizens and they bring people from other parts of the world and they think they're in a privileged situation to bring these men and they misuse those men as well. And that also happens. So it's not, it's women's act itself is equal for men and women in United States. So domestic violence, you can take benefit of the Violence Against Women's Act and file for uh, green card or file for relief. So anybody who is brought into the country in America is, if your partner doesn't file your papers, that itself is also abuse. So if you're married to a US citizen or a green card holder, you can take protection under the VAWA Act. And this is even for parents.
Mhm.
Even parents, if they are abused, and if children under 21 are abused, so that is all coming under the VAWA Act. So this VAWA was enacted to prevent people, to help people who are in this situation from domestic violence. So this is not just for one kind of person; it's for anybody who's abused.
Mhm. Okay, so my first question is already covered here, and it was related to this act. So, the Violence Against Women Act was created to protect victims of domestic violence and offers a specific protection for people without legal status in US. Uh, VAWA, that is VAWA, it also protects men and children who are victims of legal status in the US. So, is there any specific thing that people are often uh, not aware of this act?
See, VAWA is a very, I mean, there's a lot of evidence is required. First of all, you have to prove extreme cruelty. It's not ordinary cruelty, it's extreme cruelty. So, what is the bar for extreme cruelty is important to consider, you know? So, it's not necessary that you have a restraining order from the court or you have definitely gone to the police to report. Sometimes it all depends on even your declaration. So it's all of how what happened to you and how you can best prove it to the authorities. That is important. And and one of the major things in a VAWA is that there has to be a bona fide marriage. Many times, if the marriage is not bona fide, it doesn't apply. So this is a protection which is given to people who are married to U.S. citizens or green card holders only. That is a very important point to be noted about,
Okay.
because there are other kinds of protections also in US immigration now. For example, there's a trafficking visa for human trafficking, or there is a U visa for others. But VAWA typically applies only to those who are US citizens and green card holders.
Okay. Okay, got it. So it's specific to US citizens only.
And green
Coming, yeah, you want, sorry to interrupt.
and green card holders.
And green card holder. Okay, got it. So, dear audience, I want to mention this specifically. If you have any questions, you can just put that in the comment box and we can read it. Ma'am can answer right away. Uh, in the meanwhile, I'll come to my second question. So, my second question is, if I'm married to a man in US, when can I file a case of domestic violence against him? What precautions should I take?
You must file a case immediately, never delay. If some incident occurs with you, the earliest you inform the authorities, the better it will be. Because if you delay, then there is a possibility that it is considered an afterthought or it's not actual. I've noticed a lot of people don't call the police or don't call 911 or don't inform anybody. So that is the worst thing that you can do. Some of them,
So,
I understand, are afraid of being deported, or they think that their green card is in jeopardy, but it's anyway going to be in jeopardy. The domestic violence is not going to stop, and you will have lost even the evidence that you have. And this is the biggest problem with VAWA. They don't report. People don't report. So many incidents go by, we don't report. So either you go report to the police, or you go to the court and get a restraining order, or you use put something on record what is happening, because it's not only physical abuse, as I told you, psychological abuse as well. It can literally. I've seen so many people who are under the psychiatrist's care now because they are mentally imbalanced totally. When they came into this country, there was total isolation. They had nowhere to turn to. There are so many shelters which don't have, space for them anymore. They keep them for a little while and then they kick them out. So that kind of mental agony you go through, or when you have small children,
mhm.
where do you go? So these kind of times, it's very important to report the matter. The earlier, the better. Immediately, you must inform either an advocate, or call a women's organization, or call the cops, or go to the court and get a restraining order.
Okay. So here is the extension of this question. Definitely, if my husband is an abuser, he will try to stop me to file a complaint, right? So what if in case he stops all the access to connect to the external world, like he gets me trapped in the home, or he doesn't allow me to contact via phone. Is there any other way, physically or any other possible and most suitable way for me to reach out to the people?
The most suitable way is that the moment you come overseas, try to network with your own organizations. Try to go to the closest, say, for example, if it's people from India, then try to go to the closest Hindu temple, or try to go to an organization. Try to keep in touch with friends. So at least you can inform somebody that you're in trouble. So that is one way. If you can reach out to people, organizations, then there is the Indian embassy in that location. You can call them. But
Yes.
911 is a number which everybody knows the moment they arrive. They're not illiterate. They can call 911, call the police. Police comes in an instant in America. It's not like that anywhere
Yes.
else in the world.
Yes.
So I do cases of Sudanese who are, or any other place in the world they come from, Afghanistan, or Liberia, or anywhere. There is so much domestic violence there. They all know how to dial 911. So we have to reach across to the closest person whom we trust. Or if we go to the church or the temple, we can go and talk to the priest. We can talk to somebody. Tell them
Yes.
about it. It's very important to tell somebody and not keep it all bottled up inside.
Obviously. Very true. Yeah. So we initially we discussed that it's not just women that who face this domestic violence, but there are some men too.
Yes.
What are the percentage of men filing these cases?
As I was telling you, the statistics are that, 1 out of 3 women is has faces domestic violence, and 1 out of every 4 man also faces domestic violence. So it's equal. A woman also could be domestically violent. Why not? If her needs are not met. So I've seen a number of women getting arrested for domestic violence. So it's quite
Okay.
common. Yes.
Okay. So again, talking about apart from men and women, do you get any cases for LGBTQ people who experience domestic violence?
Yes, I do. I mean, LGBT community has tremendous domestic violence as well.
Tremendous. So
Yeah, because sometimes in their case, it can be all kinds of psychological abuse, even amounting to just outing a person can be a huge abuse, and it's all kinds of abuse where people, just the fact that we will inform your parents about it, or your family about it, that you're gay or a lesbian, can be huge. So
So
all
this is
kinds of
also
abuses becomes a different story there. So it becomes very harsh.
yeah, got it. So this type of cases are also filed in VAWA Act.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
LGBT. You see, if you're married, see, in this case, you have to be married to a US citizen or a green card holder. And in the states where this is permissible, marriage is permissible in the LGBT community, their spouses are like anybody else. And that's how, when they face domestic violence, they will also be eligible for the VAWA.
Okay, getting your point. So I hope many of the questions are being answered, dear audience. If you have anything else to ask, please go ahead because my questions are not going to stop. I'm very curious soul. So, yeah, I'll just pause for some time for my audience to put in their efforts and type in the questions. Is there anyone who want to ask anything? Okay. Well, I think they are more keen towards listening. Let me go ahead with another question. How does the economy affect domestic violence?
Economy is another very big factor for domestic violence. You know? So, for example, if I'll give you an example of H4, H1B. Numerous engineers come from India to America now, on H1B. Their wives are on H4. They have no authority to work, so they are always hand to mouth. They don't have money. They can't earn any money. So economic handicap is huge, and sometimes as a result of that, a lot of domestic violence occurs. Because when I wrote my book Lives on the Brink, I done research and I found it was because the wives could not work on H1B, H4 visa. So economic deprivation, where they could not buy even certain things for themselves without asking their male counterpart or their husband for money, became a reason for a lot of violence. If he didn't want to part with his money, and there was a lot of abuse as a result of that. That she didn't have a phone call to call her parents, and he wouldn't give her a calling card. It cost money. So there were issues like that. So many. And economic plays a huge role. Why not? Money is a very big issue between the couple. Another example I'll give you in America, there's community property law. So if there's a divorce, the woman gets, and the male also gets 50%. So you are supposed to, if a woman is staying home, she's looking after the home and the children, and the man is working outside, she's entitled to 50% of the earnings of the man because he's able to earn only because there's a woman looking after the home and the family. So that is also a big issue here because some men can't take that. It's different law for them. That's also the anger, some of the anger pent up in the males that I have to talk with 50% to you. They can't imagine that. So I've had cases where people would siphon off money, send money overseas, uh, and then it was so hard to trace back that money and bring that back in the country when there is a divorce. That's why these international divorces become very complicated. Because the laws, for example, in India, which I'm very uh, frequently, in the Supreme Court in India, so I can understand the laws of both the countries. So it's totally different. And economic reasons are always the fundamental grounds on which these fights occur.
Mm-hmm. So, just wanted to give it a little context here. We are talking about domestic violence related to immigration. Okay, so if we check stats, Anuji, the number is increasing day by day. What is the reason it's not declining? Is it the fault of you know attorneys or the people who are not filing the cases? But somewhere there is a track of the numbers that these are cases and people are suffering from domestic violence. Why the number is not decreasing?
Domestic violence will be always there. It's not going to decrease because people from all over the world come from different backgrounds, different laws of their countries, and come and settle in America. And then the laws here are different. So getting used to those laws and trying to struggle to live and to earn, start their life afresh, it's not going to be easy. Takes them 10 years to get their immigration status. People who come on different visas like F1 student visa, or somebody comes on H1B. Do you know the pipelines 20 years they're waiting for their green card? So they're struggling, but they still want to live here because it's wonderful here from their perspective. It's a country, a dream for everybody to come, and truly so, it is a wonderful place to live. But domestic violence will always be there. It will be there in any part of the world. It will be in any country. It will happen whenever two people live together. Some issues will come up. So the best is to, as far as immigration is concerned, to get relief from immigration under the VAWA Act. You can file a petition and get the benefit. Because if you are abused, you need to send the perpetrator to jail. You need to, so that he doesn't do it again.
So we have one question from one of our audience, which is not related to domestic violence, but it's related to immigration. So Pavan Duveji has asked, gangs calling students abroad by making fake documents are active. How to avoid them and what to do if someone gets caught in their trap. That is a consultancy he's talking about, the fake US consultancies in different countries.
Fake consultancies are not permitted, first of all. You need to be a US licensed attorney in order to file these cases.
Mhm.
They are not permitted to file. So the more the awareness, there are only licensed people in the United States who are bound by the ethical rules in America to file these cases. So you must not go to them to file a case. And if they tell you to file fake documents, then who is going to be in trouble is you, because
Obviously.
your record is going to be built forever there and you'll never be able to surmount that. Once you
Right.
send one wrong information to the US embassy, they will put you in fraud for the rest of your life. So never go to any consultant who tells you to to make up your bank account or to present any false document. Never. You've lost your chance forever.
Obviously. So as an individual, it's our duty to, check from where we are applying, right?
Yeah, always go to a licensed US attorney. Never go to any consultant, because a US lawyer can lose their license if they misguide you, and they know what rules to follow.
Mhm.
They're guided by the bar association, which is very strong in the United States.
Right. So there are many mixed questions that are coming up. I just wanted to notify the audience that this is one of the series that we are going to continue in future. The theme of this series was domestic violence and immigration. We have jotted and collected some questions that are very popular but yet not answered correctly. In the next session, we will be talking about visas. And if you have any questions, you can just drop a personal message to Anuji or to me or here on the comment box. We are going to accumulate those questions and continue in the next session of On the Air with Anu Peshawaria. So, wrapping up this session, I just want to ask you that if I am the victim of domestic violence, what is the best way to approach you to reach out to you?
Best way to approach me is through my website, anupeshavria.com, and there's my email there. You can reach out there, or you can WhatsApp me from anywhere in the world. My number is available. My website is online. You can go there. Just send me an email, or shoot me an email, or send me a WhatsApp message. I'm always available.
Well, thank you on the behalf of the audience and everyone that you have kept all your information so transparent that we can get in touch with you without the interference of third party. So hi everyone. If you are listening, you can just reach out to Anuji through website, personal message, or any social media account. She will be
Yeah.
answering your
Yeah,
queries.
please share the website with them.
Yes, of course. You will get the website along with the post we will be sharing. Uh, Remember that regardless of what type of visa you apply, you need to submit plenty of evidence to show that you are eligible. Also, if your application is denied, you risk being placed into uh, removal proceedings and ultimately deported. So, you have to make sure that all your documents which are filed are correct to the point, and so that the process is very smooth. So, I don't have any other questions for today. Thank you for your time, Anuji. Thank you very much for making our day so informational. Is there anything else you want to share to the audience?
No, it's wonderful to be able to connect with such a large audience and be able to be of some help and guidance. As at this time, I love to share my knowledge in whichever way. Feel free to email me with questions. Feel free to send me questions, and I'll be happy to respond independently as well directly to them.
That would be great. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear audience, for staying up so late. Have a good day and a great night. Thank you.
Thank you very much.